kitchen for another episode of Muscular Chef. I go by Booty, and today we're going to focus on the cheat meals and what it is, and I'm also going to give you a recipe of what is my favorite cheat meal. So let's get cooking. A cheat meal means different things for different people. You know, oftentimes people come up to me, "Hey, Muscular Chef, look at you eating broccoli again." Yes, I love broccolis. Well, they ask me, well, do you cheat? Do you eat cheat meals? My answer to them is, I eat cheat meals once in a while. As I mentioned, it means different things to different people. So for myself, a cheat meal is usually something that is different from my usual diet. Usual diet would consist of, let's say, chicken breast, veggies. So if I'm going to eat a cheat meal, when I decide to, it's going to be something that is very high in fat or something that is very sweet. It's very important to determine what your goals are. If you're on a strict diet that don't allow you those things, you don't want to consume too many cheat meals, or even stay away from cheat meals, because then you are just going to step back and you're going to lose progress that you have made. For that reason, I always encourage people that a cheat meal should not be determined just because everybody else consumes cheat meals. It should be determined about what your goals are. So essentially, for myself, a cheat meal is something that includes a lot of the things that I'm already eating in my diet, except they vary in quantities, they vary in calories. So instead of eating, let's say, 1 cup of one thing, I'm going to double that. So with that being said, the cheat meal recipe that I'm going to show you guys today is not very different than what I usually eat every day. The reason being, working hard in the gym every day, I don't want to go ahead and just eat something that is so bad for me health-wise that I'm going to lose the progress that I made in the past 2 days. So as you will see today, I'm actually making a pizza. But as you will notice on the pizza itself, the ingredients are still very healthy, but it is what I call a cheat meal because that is my definition of a cheat meal. So let's get to the recipe. Okay, so this is my take on everyone's favorite meal, a pizza. Who doesn't love a nice pizza? Watching television, pizza, especially Super Bowl events. That's the time when you get to discover who has the best pizza in town, because you're calling everybody just to get a taste. Now my version is a little different. You won't find this in restaurants, but you can place your orders through me though. So essentially what I do is, I get these nice thin pizza crusts. They're whole wheat, as you can see, and they're very thin. I'm just gonna pull one out here for you guys to see how thin they are, and also soft as well. So what I do is I rub a little olive oil and garlic as a base. And you also notice that my pizza is very different because I don't put any tomato paste on the base. The reason I don't put tomato paste is just because of its very high content in sodium, which I try to stay away from as much as possible. Now, given that it's a cheat meal, I still try to keep it relatively healthy. So how do I do that? How do you keep a pizza healthy, right? That's what you're probably wondering. I have some kale here. I've already prepped it. I have some kale, I have some onions, and I also have a chicken breast. That's part of the recipe. Very simple. So I still get my veggies, I get my protein in the chicken, and I love the crunchiness of the onions. So what I'm going to do is, I'm just going to throw that on the base here, on my thin crust. Just spread them out, make sure that everything is covered. You still just don't want to eat the thin crust, right? You want to make sure that you're eating all the toppings on it. And the following thing that I'm going to add are sausages. I had already made some sausages in the oven, I baked them, and also smoked bacon. Who doesn't love bacon, right? Now, I said that a cheat meal for me is something that I don't eat every day. Though I don't eat bacon every day, I really should. You should too. Bacon is wonderful. Especially when it has that nice smoked flavor. So I'm just going to throw the bacon strips on it in entirety. And I already have one in the oven that's been baking for a while now. I'm just going to get it out so you kind of have an idea of what it looks like. So, this is what I've already made Muscular Chef pizza looks like. You'll notice the thin crust is very crisp. You heard that sound? You heard the sizzling? Yep. That is always a good sign. And to top it off, I'm going to throw a little Parmesan on it. Not too much, just enough to melt and kind of bring everything else together. As simple as that. So as you can see, the thin crust is very crispy. the smoked bacon, the kale, the onions, and the chicken are all on top. So, although this doesn't look like, your normal cheat meal where I'm eating ice cream or, a big burger, this is still a cheat meal for me. As I mentioned at the beginning, you really have to define what a cheat meal is for you and what it does for you. Now let's talk about, is there any benefits to a cheat meal? I can't give you a scientific answer. I can tell you, well, if you eat a cheat meal once in a while, it will be better for your progress, because I don't know. You really have to determine that for yourself. What I can tell you is, the people that I have spoken to, a few people, and just from experience, some people think that a cheat meal is good for them because, well, they feel like when they're dieting, they're going crazy, and then consuming a cheat meal kind of helps them balance it out. If you're one of those people, go ahead. The way I see it, if you've been eating clean for 6 days, why cheat on the 7th day? It doesn't make any sense to me. You're either strong or you're weak. And if you tell yourself you're going to eat clean for 3 months, eat clean for 3 months. You got nothing else to lose. After that, you can binge all you want. I'm going to tell you guys a secret. I love chocolate. So when I tell myself I'm going to eat extremely clean for 2 weeks, what I do is, I'm not going to tell you. But I do love chocolate. The Muscular Chef pizza is just one of the ways that I consume my cheat meal. But you can do it differently. There are no rules to this. Really just determine what your goals are and don't go overboard. And don't do it too often either. Next week, we're going to go somewhere else. We're going to go to a place where I go when I get those urges to eat my cheat meals. As I mentioned, I don't go there often, but when I do, I make sure that I consume enough calories, enough cheat meals for maybe like the next 2-3 months. So as you'll see next week, we're going to go down at Kisanola, best chicken in town, and you'll see what I'm talking about when we get there.